Hi, I'm Ms. McCaffrey and I'm a first grade teacher in Colorado. I'm creating this video to give you some ideas on what you can do for your literacy rotations. We're going to start off by looking at my center board that the students follow, and then I will go through explaining what they do at each center. Each center is based off of Common Core, and to begin, what I do is I bring the students over and I tell them to go to Center 1. So, Aiden would be at Read to Self, this entire group. Max, this entire group, would be at Word Work, and so forth. So they go to their center, they come back, and then I tell them to go to Center 2. For Center 2, they just count down 2. So Aiden would go 1, 2, Aiden's at Word Work. Travis would go 1, 2, he's at Buddy Reading. I also have these on magnets, so if I feel like I need to switch people around into different groups, I can do that. And I will explain the numbers later. So let's now begin looking at Read to Self. Each rotation is 20 minutes long, and we go through 3 rotations each day, making it an hour-long period. So, to begin with Read to Self, each center has expectations written down. For example, Read to Self, read the whole time, stay in one spot, read quietly, work on stamina, stay focused, get started right away. Also, we discuss with students what real reading is and fake reading so they can determine are they doing what they're supposed to be doing or not. As long as they're following the expectations, they get to pick wherever they would like to read in the room. They have their own book box, and in the book box, they're allowed to pick 4 good fit books. This is our library, and our library has little stickers to go along with where books need to be put back. So each book also has a sticker on it so the students know where to put their books back. In their book box, students have a fix-up strategy organizer and a monitoring understanding organizer, so if they get stuck on words, they can use this to help them. They also have these cards that when they're done finishing reading a story, they can answer them. So one says, I want to know, I'm surprised, and so forth. Additionally, they have some of our reading strategies we're working on in our classroom, and they have their reading group book. The first thing that they need to do when they're at Read to Self or Read to Buddy is read this book first, and then they can go on to their other books. All right, for word work, the expectations are listed, we go over them. And then students need to look to see what number is underneath their name. This is a way that I differentiate instruction. So I have my high kids, my students who are on grade level, and then some students that are struggling. And we work on certain skills that each student is trying to master. So they come over here and they look to see, do they go to 1, 2, or 3? For example, word work 1 is working on common sight words, writing them. They can rainbow write them in different colors, write the words and sentences on the back, and they can build the words with titles. 2, prefixes, suffixes on the back, and 3, they have a passage that they're reading and they have comprehension questions to answer on the back. When they are done with word work, there's a lot of different games that they can play. For example, homophone bingo, sight word bingo. I have a bunch of file folder games made up for them. There's different games that they can play and silly sentence starters, so they have something to do once they finish. For listening to reading, they need to get out materials, start quickly and quietly, listen to the whole story, follow along, stay in one spot, neatly put away materials. This is where I have my listening to reading rotation. Sometimes I have my CD player out, I have a tape player, and I also use MyOn Reader to find books as well. So they'll listen to the book, and then they always have a response afterwards. So this response says, What are 3 facts you learned from the text? What are questions you have now? So they can listen to the story twice, and then they go back to their desks for their responses. Students on computers get started quickly, use headphones, eyes on computer, stay focused, and neatly clean up. I'd like to show you some programs that I use on the computer. One is called Lexia, and Lexia really helps students build the foundational skills for reading. Also, I mentioned Myon Reader. There's thousands of books that students can use and search. They really love it because they get to choose which books interest them. Also, there's Epic Reader as well. It's a free program. ABCYA also is free with lots of games for students to play, including sight word bingo. So they can choose what level they would like to play, or you can choose it for them, and then they pick the sight words. I'm also getting familiar with ePals, which is a program where students can connect with other students around the world to become pen pals. Buddy reading is the same as Read to Self, except for with a partner. They get to choose one partner that is in their group. The expectations are sit eek, use a soft voice, read the whole time, stay in one spot, and get started right away. We have a little saying in our classroom. It goes elbow to elbow, knee to knee, I'll read to you and you'll read to me. Elbow to elbow, knee to knee, book in the middle so we can both see. So we talk about sitting eek, and they grab their book boxes and choose where they would like to sit. All right, our last rotation is writing center. So in class we're talking about contractions, compound words, and sentences. Students grab a marker and they write down the words. A little motivation for them is I write down the amount of words each group gets, and the group with the most words written down gets to pick out of the prize box. They also can use classroom dictionaries. And when they're done, when they've written as many words as they can think of, they grab their Scholastic Muse along with their response to go along. And they go back to their desk and complete this. While students are working independently at their center rotation, I am able to pull small groups back here to work with me based on their reading level and certain skills that they're working to still master. I can use iReady reports for this, I can use reading benchmarks, or other tasks that I've asked for them to complete in the classroom. So there's different levels on the back of the books that I follow to go along with where they need to be reading at, and when they come to group, they bring their book along with their response notebook, because we will read the story, they will have a response to go along with it, and then they put this book in their book box for practice. I have a lot of different questions that I can ask them on hand. Sometimes they choose what questions they would like to answer. Sometimes I choose, just dependent on the day. And I also always start my reading group off with a quick warm-up. To help with classroom management, I use an app called My Class Rules. And what it does is it shows the level of noise that is in your classroom. So we have a goal of being at 63. And when they meet the goal of 63 after the center rotation, so they have to be at 63 when we end, we get a mystery motivator. So the students choose things that they would like in our classroom, and we write them down, and then we flip them over once they get their goal. So show and tell on Friday would be the next one. If they are too loud, so if our noise gets to 70, then we move a noise card, and that's some minutes that they owe. Thank you for watching my video. I hope I gave you some new ideas that you can take back and apply in your classroom.